Well, here we are after a fantastic week one start to the NFL season and a good week for both of us on the spreads, Mike. The final results from week one, I had 11 out of the 16 games and you picked nine. So me picking at 68% and you at 56% there. Both would have turned a profit if we had money on all of them. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it over to you and you can discuss your highlight of the picks from the first week.
I think there are quite a few, to be honest. It
Mm.
was an unusually good week one for me. I'm normally dreadful in week one, although 56% tends to be kind of where I am at the end of the season. So I feel like I'm just going to carry on a flat line throughout. Never managed to break the elusive 60% mark. I think for me, my favourite result, just for a personal satisfaction point of view, was the Giants covering against the Titans.
Mm. Yeah.
I thought I was taking a bit of a risk with that one, but I just thought I didn't have a lot of faith in Tennessee this season.
Yeah.
I think that, and they never blow anyone out anyway, do they? So I just thought it was worth a punt. So if I'd had, that's the kind of one where I would have put money on it in real life, actually, if I wasn't such a coward. So
Well, well, I mean, I looked at it and thought, God, I'm not going to touch this at all. So it's good you had your convictions about that because the line was 5.5. It just looked quite odd, and I thought, oh, I could see it going both ways. I could see the Titans rolling, Derrick Henry just rushing for 200 yards, and
yeah,
then I'd also see the eventual outcome of the game. So that was a good pick there. It's one I got wrong. I
Sa-
thought the Titans get it done.
Saquon being back is big for the Giants.
Yeah, very healthy. Well,
I
looks
would
like.
never have picked him in the top five of the draft, but he is a top 10 running back in the NFL when healthy. So they can keep opposition offenses off the field more this year if he's get some time of possession, give Daniel Jones a little bit of support. They won't be as maligned as they have been recently on offense, I don't think. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was thought that. Well, how about you? What was your favorite pick of last week?
I have to say, enjoying a bit of Lovey Smith action back in the NFL. So it has to be the Texans covering that large grande spread, you could say, against the Colts there, almost winning the game as well. Yeah, I like that one. It was one I put money on myself, so turned a little profit on that one. I just thought, it's a divisional game. They're a 7.5 point home dog. Interestingly enough, last week we had 5 divisional games, and of those, 4 underdogs covered the spread. So it says all you need to know about divisional games. It was too many points to give the Texans. A lot of hoo-ha made in the American media about Lovey Smith's decision to play for the tie, but it's I won't really discuss that too much. It's not for us to say on the spreads, but I don't know. It's a league format. The tie is not the worst result you could get in a league format. It's not like he had to win the game. And yeah, it's a comfortable cover for them.
Yeah, and that division is going to be tight again. So I could see an 8-1 football team winning that division. So it might end up being a good decision.
Yeah. No, they look good. So yeah, that was good to see. Good to see old Greybeard himself back in the NFL.
Yeah, I love Lovey Smith. That was a very satisfying result. I enjoy, even though it was a tie. Being English, I don't mind a draw. So it didn't bother me at all.
No, fair result. Yeah.
Right. Well, shall we crack on with this week then? Because we've got quite a bit to get through. We've got some interesting lines.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at that. I'm just going to share my screen while I'm doing that. I'm going to say I haven't looked yet at the Cowboys line for this week, minus Dak Prescott with a broken hand, the moron. So that's one of the most moronic pieces of roster construction ever. Not finding a suitable backup for Tyrone Smith at left tackle, and you get your quarterback's hand broken in week one, Tom.
Well, there was a lot of personal satisfaction for you there.
I'm expecting the Cowboys to be a 14-point dog or something to the Bengals.
Yeah, well, it's not that much. I had a peek earlier, but it's a dog for sure. They're a home dog.
Okay, so can you see my screen? All right.
Yeah, got it up there. All
So
right.
yeah, the Athletic, very nice here, getting the team leader stats on the go here with Patrick Mahomes and his sensational day at the office last week, 360 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. The line here is the Chargers plus 4.5 on the road at Arrowhead. The over/under for the total points is an interesting one for me in this game as well. 54 points. I think over. What do you think, Tom?
On the over, I don't know. On these Thursday games, traditionally you see a bit of sloppy football, and as a result, not many points scored. It usually favors the defenses. So yeah, it's tempting. It's there to tempt you, but I think overall last week we saw a lot of I don't know the stats, but a lot of those games would have been under the scoring. It was a very defense and mistake heavy first week.
Yeah, it was definitely was. You can see, I think, at the risk of sounding like an old school football coach, it does. You have to think it's not playing in the preseason means the offenses have more of a disadvantage in week one than the defenses. It just didn't look fluid, did it, for a lot of teams? It did for the Chiefs. The Chiefs look fantastic. They didn't even really get Sky Moore involved in that first week, and he's been looking sensational preseason and in camp. So I think they're going to put up a lot of points here, is my thinking. Herbert looked good again against the Raiders, but the Chargers again, though, they always find themselves in these tight games, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Keenan Allen going out with a hammy, soft tissue injury for him yet again. My gut is saying I think this is going to be a close game, and the Chargers could even come in and cause an upset. But it is Arrowhead. It is the short week. I just think 4.5 points is too much for me. I'm gonna say the Chargers to cover here. I think the Chiefs might win by a field goal. Yeah.
Well, I kind of go against talking about the divisional games and that they're usually close, but I don't know. Maybe going a bit more with my own pride here in my team, and I think I'll take the Chiefs to win by probably a touchdown. I think it looked probably the most complete offense we saw last week, and if they keep that rolling, it doesn't look like I don't know. I don't rate the Chargers maybe as highly as other people rate them. I feel like they've got weaknesses in their team, and I think we're going to do enough to keep Mahomes upright. And it'll be a lot of points, I think, for the Chiefs.
Yeah, they're calling for looking. This is very good down here. We've got the weather for the game. They're calling for 30 degrees and sunny, so it's not going to be a slop bowl like we had in Chicago last week. So that should aid some good offensive football, let's hope. So one place there won't be any good offensive football is in Cleveland, Ohio this weekend, as the Jets come to town with the Joe Flacco-led Jets. He will be starting again in week 2. I think Zach Wilson is out until week 4. So obviously the point total is very low at 39.5, and you've got to think that's correct. I think it's going to be a low scoring slobber knocker of a game, and I still even that line is big considering the Browns won't put up a huge amount of points. I just can't see the Jets putting up any really against anybody until Wilson comes back. What do you think?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's tough. They had a good draft, the Jets. They got some really good players that we rated highly. It hasn't come together yet, whether that's coaching or just the general atmosphere or what. I think Flacco threw the ball 56 times in that. It's a bit of a mess, let's be honest, and you don't bet on the mess. So yeah, give me the Browns to cover that. Only a touchdown win. I mean, you handily take that. I think you will as well.
It's one of these classic ones where I wouldn't touch it with my own money, but we're being forced to give a pick here, and I have to take the Browns. I just don't think the Jets will get anything going on offense. I think that they are starting to put some really good young pieces around, but I still don't think they've got the quarterback right. And the offensive play caller right. And until you do those two things, you're not going to put up any points in the modern NFL. So, give me the Browns. Um,
Pretty straightforward, that one.
Okay, now this one is interesting.
Mm.
The Dolphins on the road to the Ravens. 3.5-point dogs, the Miami Dolphins on the road. Now, the Ravens didn't pull up any trees last week against the woeful New York Jets. Took them a while to get going on offense. Only 6 carries for Jackson. So I kind of wonder if he's hesitant to run given this contract situation.
Could be, yeah.
And I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to beat anybody from the pocket very consistently. Last year, the Dolphins absolutely beat the shit out of him in Miami. Just blitzed him all game long, and he had no answer. Couldn't hit any throws outside the numbers. I'm gonna say Miami here.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, it is tough. It's same thing. I feel like the Patriots were a pretty average team who played a bad game. The Dolphins still didn't really put them away, maybe as they should have, similar to the Ravens. So this is going to be a really good test for both these teams. I think I'll disagree here because I'll take the home favorite here because I think they're just going to be more consistent. I think on the road, the Dolphins might be a bit more error prone. Other than that, it's very tough to call. But yeah, I'll take the Ravens just to be otherwise for your pick there.
Yeah, no, your everything you said makes sense. Good logic. I think that was more of a coin toss, isn't it? Could go either way.
Yeah, could.
So our next divisional game, Colts on the road to the upstart Jags. I don't know if they really are an upstart. They kind of looked like the Jags last week, didn't they? Even with Doug Peterson in charge. A bit better on offense. That you see that stat line there for Trevor Lawrence. That's at least a bit more of a modern NFL respectable day at quarterback. But they lost the game. Even with a couple of Wentz howlers, they lost the game. So, but the Colts don't beat anybody big either, do they? And they're always heavily favored in these division matchups, like they were last week. I just don't think they'll go into Duval and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars by more than 4 points. So give me the Jags here, just purely on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's divisional game, 4 points. It's about right, but I think the Jags cover this one. The Colts style, as you mentioned, is run the football and play some defense. So yeah, they're not blowing them out for sure. I think that's about as nailed on a cover as we'll see this week. Give us both Jaguars.
Well, the worrying thing for the Colts as well is they put up a lot of yards against the Texans and couldn't convert in the red zone, which
shockers in the red zone.
They need to get that sorted quickly.
The AFC South is just a mess.
It really is. Speaking of getting things sorted quickly, the Patriots had their usual torrid time on South Beach, getting absolutely thwacked by the Dolphins. Steelers, the two teams here that aren't going to do a lot on offense, but you got to think JJ Watt being out here is a huge problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Potentially.
What?
Sorry?
TJ Watt, his brother.
Oh, did I say JJ Watt?
Yeah, he's also out.
Oh, he's always out. Sorry, I didn't mean TJ Watt. One problem. The other thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers is the running backs out this week potentially as well. Got an injury, so home dog though the Steelers. Oh god.
Well, I mean, this is just for me a very bizarre spread. I mean, which they're basing this off a week 1 result basically, or maybe the injuries are playing a part as you mentioned, but just going on the results. I mean, how can the Steelers be underdogs at home to a Patriots team that looked about as haphazard as we saw in week 1? It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, the offense, the Steelers' offense was diabolically bad yet again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's Trubisky, I suppose. So.
I don't think the Patriots are going to play that badly again. I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Well, I mean, the Patriots will sort out at some point, but is it in week 2? No. Again, it's a tough one to call. I'll take the Steelers on this one.
Taking the home dog.
Yeah. You siding with the Pat to get it turned around?
Yeah, without TJ Watt, yeah, give me the Pats. I don't feel good about it. That leaves me with a bad taste picking the Patriots, but
well, yeah, I mean, he is an immense player. It might be the one reason why this spread is so bizarre, just because he's out. I guess it does factor in.
I think so. And potentially, I think it's just how little Trubisky showed in terms of an ability to push the ball down the field. And the Patriots' secondary is never going to be bad with Belichick as head coach.
Yeah.
So I think those things all weighing in, but yeah, not one I feel confident on at all. You can probably see it on my face. One of my favorite games ever since Tom Brady's gone to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now. Buccaneers at Saints. They had a hoodoo over him, Tom.
Oh, it's excellent. A bit of voodoo, you could say. A bit of Bayou magic there, really knocking Brady around. I mean, I think the last time they met in New Orleans, it was like a 12-6 game or something ridiculous. So again, if you look at the under on that, it's 44. I mean, you might as well take that. Yeah, on this one, it is tough, isn't it? I can't see the Saints doing it this time. I just can't. I know they've got a spell over Brady, but it's more the line here I'm looking at. It's 2.5 is a field goal win. So I think it's very plausible that the Bucks go in there and get a field goal win, even though they don't look great. I mean, the Saints looked awful for 3.5 quarters. So yeah, Winston could turn up and throw 4 picks against the Bucks. It wouldn't surprise me. So I'll have to side with what I know here. Keep it with Brady in the Bucks and take the field goal win.
I think the concern for the Saints is quite a talent deficient Atlanta Falcons team. Even though I like their coaching staff, they haven't got a lot of good playing talent. And they really should have won that game, the Falcons. They were the better team. The Saints kind of pulled it out miraculously at the end. I think the Buccaneers are sensible. I think they know the limitations of their offensive line. Brady's not going to hold the ball and try and throw downfield like he did under Arians' stewardship, I don't think. I think they're going to get out of his hands. I think they're going to give it to playoff Lenny, hammer the rock, and come out and lean on their world-class defense and come out with a field goal win. Couldn't agree with you more, Thomas.
Yeah, that's good. I think we might as well nail that one on.
Yeah, we're both very confident in that. Watch it be an absolute one-sided, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the New York Giants returning to New Jersey for their game against the Panthers. They are a 2-point favorite. I wonder when the last time the Giants were favored might have been, potentially early last season.
Yeah, you'd be right with that. Yeah, I mean, what a just a torrid game this is. I mean, God. I'd like to see the viewing numbers for this one, but I can't imagine they'd be very high outside of the state of New York.
Well, if you're a fan of watching high class running back play, you would get some in this game if they can both stay on the field.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Saving grace there because you won't get much good quarterback play. It's a tough spread. I think the Panthers are a shambles at the moment. I think we were texting about Matt Rule during the early games last week and saying he just doesn't look comfortable in this position. It seems to be getting a bit tired on him. And you just tell in his face, I'm not sure he wants to be there, to be honest. Have to take the Giants, only 2-point home favorites, so feel pretty comfortable taking them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the Panthers owner as well, I can imagine he's not going to give them too long a leash here before he starts pulling people out of coaching jobs and getting interims and stuff like that. I agree. I think Rule doesn't look like he's got much buy-in from the locker room. So I'm going to say Giants. Giants squeak a close one and keep their early season roll going.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, not much more to discuss in that one, to be honest.
No. A lot that's left better unsaid, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
The Washington Commanders on the road. They're in command. They're 1-0. Carson Wentz has taken command. And they go on the road to face the upstart. Now, I said upstart earlier. The Lions really did look like an upstart. Obviously, I was keeping a very close eye on that Lions-Eagles game last week. And the Lions showed what they showed in the back sort of quarter of last season, which is actually statistically, in terms of output, they're one of the better offenses in the NFL at the moment. They're kind of on fire, putting up yardage and points. I think they'll put up a lot of points against the Commanders. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel as high in the Lions as you do. I think I'm actually quite high in the Commanders under Riverboat Ron's tutorship here. I think they can be a surprise team and challenge for the NFC East, certainly this season, and maybe get to the playoffs. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy the Lions as much as anyone. I enjoy their coach. I think the spread very short here. The Lions put up good stats, as you said, but they just struggle to win games. Until they can start winning some tight ones, I'll be quite comfortable actually taking the Commanders here. This is a bit of a no-brainer for me. This one when I looked at it.
Wow, no-brainer. That's strong. That's strong. I'm gonna respectfully disagree. I think the last week's game was the first non-Thanksgiving sellout for the Detroit Lions for like 3 years or something. I think the fans are back into it. I think the coach is up for a fight. I think, to be honest, if I'm being brutally honest, they deserve to win the game against the Eagles last week. I think they can consider themselves pretty unlucky. And I just don't think the Commanders, God, I almost called them the Redskins there. That's too much Madden 2007. The Commanders, I just don't think have as much quality as the Eagles, and I think that the Lions will be able to squeak out a close win and get off the schneid.
That's I just can't see it, to be honest. So we'll have to see on that one. It's very rare we disagree so strongly on a spread, but
I think last week's was Giants Titans that we were very differing on. So we'll see this week. Maybe it'll swing back to you this week, and you'll make me look a mug. Only time will tell. Right, into the late kicks now. The oft maligned late kicks can be some really bad late slates in the NFL. This one doesn't, on the face of it, look like it will be a classic. The Falcons at the Rams, but a 10-point line, even with the Rams bounce back that there will inevitably be. I think a 10-point line is madness, isn't it, Tom?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's too much. There comes a point where if someone's going to give you the points, just take the points. In the NFL, at least. So yeah, just purely on the spread. And yeah, you mentioned earlier you like the Falcons stuff. Mariota's did what Mariota does really. He just doesn't really turn the ball over much. He's not going to make the throws to win games, but I think he does enough here with their supporting cast to cover 10 points.
Drake London looked good. That's big. Yeah. If they can get Patterson, Pitts, and London going at the same time, it kind of, to some degree, quarterback proofs the offense a little bit, because that's a really good supporting cast for anybody then. And Mariota isn't. He's, as you said, he'll be efficient and he'll protect the football. Veteran player, and he's got his legs as well. I think they hang around with the Rams, and then the Rams pull away late and get themselves up to 1-1. So I don't know, something maybe like a touchdown win for the Rams or something.
Yeah, I think so.
So obviously we're both saying Falcons cover, just to clarify that.
Yes.
Okay, that's fairly straightforward, I think. So then we'll head on to one that I do not think is straightforward, and actually I'm really excited to watch this week, which is the Seahawks at the 49ers, purely because I think these are actually how these teams are constructed is actually very similar. And they're going to have to win in the same way. I think this could be an old school, like when Harbaugh was in charge of the 49ers and he used to get into these slobber knockers with everybody. I feel like, especially the Seahawks, I feel like this is going to be one of those type of games. Bit of a throwback.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, and for that reason, I mean, there's no real doubt here, is there, Mike, about this?
What is that line? I hadn't seen the line. I hadn't seen the line.
I'm wondering what if you're going to comment on it. Yeah, it's bizarre.
I thought it said 3.5. What the hell? I'm googling Jimmy Garoppolo right now. If they put Garoppolo back in the quarterback,
no, they can't have.
We'd have heard about that, wouldn't we?
Yeah. No, I mean they're rolling with Trey Lance. I think their thinking is he was an absolute mud bowl in Chicago, as you mentioned earlier, and you can't really glean too much from that. So
yeah,
it's kind of wipe the slate. Let's go again on a normal day there in Santa Clara. This is terrible. Honestly, I don't know who's put together this line.
To be honest, as soon as we finish this call, I'm putting £20 on Seahawks cover here.
Yeah, I'm already. And I might put some more on after this because I'm just talking myself into it even more. But this is just very odd.
Trey Lance in his 4 NFL starts has a quarterback rating of like 72 or something.
Yeah,
it's not working yet. Now
their running back's injured. I think Mitchell. I think he's gone.
He is. And I was listening to the Bootleg podcast the other day, and those guys are actually in with that. They've been to 49ers training camp. They know Shanahan personally, or at least Brett Coleman does. And they were saying how the entire offense, unlike a Shanahan team, has been running through Mitchell this preseason. And now that he's out, they looked a bit devoid of ideas against the Bears. I also love what Pete Carroll is doing. They were definitely lucky to beat Broncos. But I love him just saying, you know what, fuck it. If I'm going to lose my job, let's do it on my terms. We're going to play defensive football.
Yeah.
And we're going to run the ball. And it worked a treat. Now, they probably were, as I say, fortunate to hang on in that game, but it definitely won't be a blowout here. So yeah.
No,
I've taken way too much time talking about this. Sorry, but I just can't believe that. So yeah,
no, it is. It's the weirdest one we've seen in the year so far. And I think it's payday time if you take the Seahawks on that. To be honest.
Yeah. So two Seahawks covers there. Very comfortable. I would have suggested. Another comfortable one here. I don't think you can talk me out of taking the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh.
I was hoping for 5.5, not 7.5. That's quite a lot. But who's gonna play quarterback though? Is it Cooper Rush? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, they're not really stacked at all behind quarterback, but
they'd be better off with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, he'd don a uniform again and play. But yeah, this is the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals have won a game by more than 7 points in the past year, honestly. So I couldn't trust the Bengals to cover that. Even whoever's playing at quarterback, I'm sure they're just going to pound the rock, Dallas, in this. I mean, they'd be stupid to do anything else. So
they've already got Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard in the backfield. Why they weren't doing that with Dak at quarterback, I don't know.
So for me, it's a Cowboys cover. There's no real doubt in my mind about this. It's a Cowboys cover.
Shit. Yeah, go on. That's too big. Cowboy cover.
Yeah,
that hurts my soul. The good news, the good news is that the Dallas Cowboys are going to lose that football game. It puts them at 0-2 without a quarterback, which ultimately is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Let's move on from the Cowboys. Normally the best policy.
All right, Cards Raiders here.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting.
Too
big line again.
Maybe a bit of an overcorrection here from Vegas because the Cards got thumped so convincingly in that opener against the Chiefs.
I think a lot of teams will get thumped by AFC West teams this year. I don't think there's actually any shame in it, to be honest.
But do you think it's here? Do you think the Raiders smashed the Cardinals? I don't see this being a 5.5 point game. I think it's a field goal win maybe for someone.
I do worry for the Cardinals this season a little bit. I think this might be the end of the road here for the coach. Yeah, I think they've fallen away in all of his previous seasons at the end of the season. So if they don't start well this year, it really doesn't bode well. I'm gonna take them to cover this. I think this is a get right game for the Vegas Raiders. I think they have too much quality on offense, and that Cardinals defense does look really vulnerable. They've lost some really good players over the last 2 or 3 years, that defense, and as you touched on earlier, JJ is not healthy still. So yeah, give me the Raiders, but not by a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Now
we have about 7 minutes left in our Zoom meeting here, Tom. It's quite good. It keeps us it stops me going off on too many tangents. So we've got three more games to get through, starting here with
We've got 4 more.
Oh, do we?
We've got 2 Monday night games for some reason this week.
Oh, heaven forbid. All right, Houston Texans.
Well, let's keep this one quick. I think it's a Texans cover. It's too many points to give them. We saw they were well coached and ready to play. The Broncos, on the other hand, I think we were saying, what is their coach up to? He looks like a bit of a cretin, I believe is the word used. So I can't take the Broncos.
He looks like He looks like a munchkin, the coach for the Denver Broncos. He looks like a child in a baseball cap.
A big baby. Yeah. With a chain around him. With an inexplicable gold chain around him. It's a very bizarre combination.
Too many points. Do we think if the Texans had beaten the Colts by a field goal that this line would be this big? I think it's just overreacting to the fact they tied rather than won the game, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Classic overcompensation. So yeah, easy, comfy Texans cover there.
Yeah, goodness. I mean, the next one we're going to look at as well, which is going to be Sunday Night Football, is I wasn't expecting this. Were you? A 10-point spread.
Yeah, because I think the talent deficit that the Bears have to the Packers is pretty considerable. And when you watch that game against the 49ers last week, all of the issues that you worry about with the Chicago Bears were on display, which is they don't really have an offensive philosophy. Nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing on offense, and the offensive line is historically bad. The Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, as he said last year, owns the Chicago Bears, and I think he told them. And I think he's going to be livid with how that game transpired last week against the Vikings. So
that was a famous loss for you there. You backing your boy Rodgers to get it done in week 1.
Yeah, I thought he'd be able to close that secondary, but you got to credit the Vikings. They made it really difficult for him up front with all of the offensive linemen they got missing.
Yeah. All right. So you think they cover 10 points here then?
Yeah. I think they're gonna. I think he's gonna play like an MVP against this Bears team in Lambeau.
I think the Bears still have enough on defense to keep it close. I agree. The offense is a mess, but I'll take the Bears. It's just 10 points is too much for a divisional at least.
Yeah, look, it doesn't fill me with joy doing that because I am worried that maybe the rot is starting to set in Green Bay, but I think he's going to get it right, like he did last season. They got blown out by the Saints, and then they went on a tear. I can kind of see the same thing with the Packers this year.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's go then to Buffalo, New York, for the visit of the Tennessee Titans. Oh, holy mackerel! It's
another big one.
They've
got a bit carried away with these 10-point spreads this week. I don't know what's going on.
I thought there would be less big spreads this week. I need to get my wallet out here. This is lovely.
Yeah, this is I mean, I'm sure you feel comfortable with this as well. The Titans cover 10 points. It's not up for debate.
I don't know if I've ever seen the Titans under Vrabel get blown out. Have you?
No, they're always competitive.
I don't think I've ever seen them. I guess they started that playoff game really well against the Chiefs and then ended up getting blown. I guess that's the closest. And I suppose if anyone could do it to them other than Mahomes, it would be Josh Allen.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, but one of the images of the Titans against the Bills is Henry charging around and throwing Josh Norman to the turf in Orchard Park, New York, and rushing for about 150 in that game. So I think, they're built to beat them. Just run the ball at them and don't worry too much about anything else.
They have got
10.
I would normally agree with you, but they have got more stout up front. The Bills. It's looking like the best defense in the NFL early. The Bills defense.
That's true. Yeah,
but I agree. I agree. I just don't think it will be a blowout. The Bills aren't going to blow everybody out. They're just not.
No. All right, and we've got a double header on Monday night for some bizarre reason. I don't know why, but
I actually can't find it on here. It actually won't let me select it. Here it is. No.
It's
you do it, Tom.
Oh, well, I haven't got it up, but I can tell you it's the Vikings at the Eagles.
Oh yeah, of course.
There you go.
Of course.
So yeah, how could you forget?
Dreadful.
God, I mean, don't force me to make a call on this one. My goodness.
Razor thin. We've only got a minute and 40 seconds as well. We're on the clock. I'm going to go. I'll go first if you like. If you're undecided, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles at home. As impressive as that Vikings offense it was and will continue to be against the Eagles, they'll put up a load of points against us. I think the Eagles will prove a much tougher outfit for the Vikings defense this week. I thought Hurts stood in the pocket, delivered from the pocket over the middle of the field. AJ Brown, I mean, unless they start doubling him, problems. So yeah, give me my Philadelphia Eagles here to win by a field goal late. Walk-off field. Yeah. Jake Elliott.
I think I'm just going to be otherwise here and pick against you just because I don't know. I want to spice it up a little bit, but also I'm feeling pretty good about the Vikings. I have to say, with this new offense they've installed, it's really unlocking everyone pretty well. So yeah, I'll take the Vikings to cover 2.
Lovely stuff. All right. Well, that's all we've got time for this week. We are rapidly running out of it. So yeah, we'll tune back in next week and see how many we got right.
Yeah. Pleasure as always.
Pleasure, mate. Take care.
All right.